Easy, boy. This time I can prove the Israelites weren't black using ChatGPT. Ha!
So that's what we're doing now? Using AI?
What was that? I couldn't hear you over that smoke alarm chirp you people can't hear. Say that again?
Hilarious and original.
Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original.
I said, is that what we're doing now? Using AI to prove who the Israelites are?
That's exactly what we're doing, and I'll show you, boy.
Oh, brother.
2 hours later.
Your room still stinks.
Look at how easily ChatGPT debunks everything you chimps have to say. Ha! You was not kings, and you was not Israelites.
If we're going to use AI, then let's at least use an AI that's trained on the Bible without the Masoretic mistranslations or any agendas and actually tells us the truth.
Liar, there's no such thing.
I'll show you. Let's use Israelite Bot. Go to IsraeliteBot.com and ask the same thing.
Fine, but I bet it'll say the same thing as ChatGPT. No! No!
You see? I told you.
No!
And it shows biblical proof.
No! This is preposterous. I hate this website. It's all wrong.
Stop crying.
Your website sucks.
The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Are you constantly working hard, checking off the boxes, yet feel unfulfilled? Doors keep closing, plans fall through, and progress feels forced? These are signs that you might be off course in your kingdom assignment. Join the Unlocking Your Kingdom Assignment Masterclass, where you'll learn to bring clarity to your God-given talents, discover your divine purpose, and take bold steps toward living them out. This isn't just another motivational session, it's a practical, faith-filled guide to aligning your gifts, calling, and season of life with what God has truly designed for you. You'll walk away with clarity, biblical insight, and strategies to move forward with confidence. Don't miss this opportunity to unlock the assignment God has written for you. Registration is open now at no cost to you. Sign up now at the posted website, or you can see the link in my bio. Stay blessed.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Shalom, Salama, Tiemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you all this morning. This morning is June 18th, and this morning also happens to be day 6 going into day 7, one of those for this conflict that is happening, that's occurring. So this war is not slowing up. I'm looking, there's centrifuges, facilities in Iran that have been hit. You have trading shots. You had strategic targets being hit. So a lot of things are really coming to pass here. As I'm looking at the latest and greatest. Give me a second as I share these things with you, because there's a reason that we're seeing what we're seeing, and I gotta help. I gotta build this on up. Of the different things going on. And a lot of these sites, they're going to be about their troll sites. But a lot of these sites, you have to understand, there are really a lot of key things happening over there in many different places, many different spaces, many different places. There was one video this was within Israel, and again, I have to tell you, they're not getting the footage on out there, because as I had stated yesterday, last night's broadcast, there are things that you won't show and there won't be shown. A lot of the conditions that's on the ground, because the moment you go to a capacity where you're going to have other nations enter, other nations, they don't just enter just to enter. They enter because there's some sort of a strategic condition happening. I'm sorry, that is that is pretty funny. Man gets hit by car while watching Iranian missiles above Israel. Okay. That was pretty funny. But I'm trying to be serious here because there's a lot of things that is really happening in this day and age. This was 16 hours ago. They said this is from Manaj Karwazra. Iran super hypersonic missiles had directly hit Haifa's or Israel's Haifa power plant, causing massive destruction. The entire facility has reportedly been reduced to rubble. So they don't like to show this right here because this is something called in the intel world BDA, battle damage assessment. BDA, battle damage assessment. So you'll start to see things at a high level. You'll start to get some of the intelligence summaries and, you know, different reports that will show things going on. But when you have reports on the ground with the different video, and there's been a lot of video I've been perusing through, it goes to show you really how dire the situation is for Israel. And you know, it's not to take anything. Look, I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't. But I want to show people what that is going to mean to them. Because we're all going to be affected by this. Don't get it twisted. Everyone's going to get affected. That's a picture of the air defenses. Crashing right back down into each other. But, you know, they had stated that their stuff was the best in the world, right? And that's why you cannot be prideful, boastful, all of this stuff. And then lo and behold, you're now out of power because that's not going to be fixed anytime soon. This infrastructure is not going to be fixed anytime soon, especially while they're still able to conduct strikes. Now, that was a video purportedly of Mossad's headquarters being hit. So they're taking out a lot of their intelligence operations. I don't know how the veracity of that reporting is. But you're now having folks in the United States, they're panicking. These are your crowds that are very patriotic, your right wing, that's now having issues. They're now commenting, and a lot of what they're saying, that's why I don't have it here, could be the whole anti sentiments, which will definitely throw my channel, get it flagged and everything else. I mean, it's already flagged, but now you understand it's going to be a bit more progressive, especially as we're showing these images, reporting on this. Whether you take a side or not, it's showing that there is a lot of things going on they're showing images of the missile strikes. There was a big missile strike that just happened. Where it was confirmed that a Fatah 1 had hit a target in Israel. This is showing it here on the 17th, 18th June night. Iran used its first generation Fatah missile for the first time to strike Tel Aviv. In the attached videos, the maneuverable hypersonic missile can be seen cutting through 12 IDF interceptors before striking its target. This is it right here. Those are the interceptors going up. They're flickering in the sky, trying to find its target. They can see something coming on radar, but there's the hypersonic, the Fatah 1 right there, and it makes impact. Let me show you this again. They're up in the air. Interceptors are up in the air. They can only stay for so long, and then they blow themselves up because they don't want to retrace back down to earth or to the ground. And there you have it, the Fatah 1. See, it's probably another video. And those things are screaming down. Quick flash, bang. I believe, to me, those are more concussion based, meaning that there's not as much of a warhead on there other than a Let me turn the sound down. So this is what's happening to them every single day. Now 6 days straight. And I think that's an older. I believe that's older, and that's fine. But now you're starting to see, look, if you're going to threaten someone, you have to, long story short, don't threaten people. Unless you truly intend to back that up. And in the end, listen, you really shouldn't be starting anything. That to me, that is kind of the definition of. Because when this thing doesn't go the way that they all believe it's going to go, and they all believe that it's going to go in a certain direction, we know where this is headed. Shout out to Minister Yacoba last night. You had that Caucasian man sharing the dream 10 years ago, or in 2010, 15 years ago. And boy, oh boy, is it not looking like this is playing out in that vision. It looks like it to me. Someone is posting here. Official statement from the IRGC. Fatah's powerful maneuverable missiles used. Today's missile strike showed that we have complete control over the skies of the occupied territories, and their residents are completely defenseless against Iranian missile attacks. There are some other things, because there was a Jaffa and Tel Aviv. They were telling their residents to evacuate. Iran was telling the residents of Jaffa and Tel Aviv to evacuate. So they're talking about the 11th wave of True Promise 3. And as they're talking about the 11th wave, they're showing this video. Let it recycle. Oh, that was a direct hit. Oh, that was a direct hit. Imagine seeing that. Wow. Some RT. Let me scroll into that one. Let me bring you up in here, Brother Garth. I'm scroll mastering here.
Yeah, Brother Karras, I didn't even know you went live. You gotta do like, Batman when he has the Batman signal. You gotta throw up the live signal, because I had no clue you were live yesterday, and I caught caught it after, but yeah, man, things are escalating. It's like,
Well, honestly, I was in the process of looking to see what was going on, and trying to get more reporting. So it says here, Iran deploys its Fatah hypersonic missile, can hit targets at over 13 times the speed of sound, IRIB, with extreme maneuverability outside the atmosphere and a separate engine in its warhead. Come on now. 2-stage. Solid fuel. Mach 13 to 15 for the speed. It operates inside and outside the atmosphere. Range is 1,400 kilometers. That's still a lot. That's about around 10,000, like almost 1,100. Yeah, almost 1,100. Movable nozzle with the ability to change the thrust vector. That means that thing is sneaky. Maximum time to reach the target, 336 seconds. You only got 5 minutes and 36 seconds to get your behind somewhere else. Radar evasion and constant course change. And blocks enemy radar waves. Oh my goodness. They don't know when it's coming. Well, it says here, Iran, the United States, Russia, China, North Korea have hypersonic technology. Actually, I'm going to say that that's probably inaccurate. I don't believe the United States has hypersonic technology. I believe the United States, when they tried to test the hypersonic technology, they've had failures with it. So they may have it, but they're not successful in deploying it or utilizing it. The success rate's like 30%.
oh, that's not good. It's not a good number. Whatever Trump would say, that's not good. That's not a good.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it right, and when we get it right, boy, it's gonna be the best. And when it's the best
missile in history.
it's gonna be the bestest missile in history. The bestest.
Oh man, what a time to be alive.
So yeah, they don't produce hypersonics at 15 million. Now each one of these, I didn't realize they're saying it cost about $1 billion. It costs Israel about $1 billion a day. Here's some more images. This is a long one. We'll take a
What the fuck? Oh shit.
Sorry for the language. That's the video.
Oh shit.
Colorful
What the fuck? Oh my god.
They're dancing through the
Oh
sky.
my fucking god. What? Oh my god. Whoa. Whoa. Oh shit. What the fuck is going on right now? They fucking Demona up. What the fuck? Look at this shit. Bro, this is some next level shit right here. Look at this shit.
I think this is the one I was trying to find. Sorry, this is the one I was trying to find. Yeah,
Look
because look at
how
the.
many is coming
Yo, that's
now.
Because
insane. That's like
that was
fireworks.
it.
Yo,
Yeah, this is the one else trying to find. That's
Oh
called
my
sneak.
God.
yo, that's insane.
What the fuck? Bro, it's like Independence Day out. Oh shit.
Oh man,
What?
so much for a dome. That's all those are hitting.
Whoa. Ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way.
So let me tell you this.
Whoa.
Let me tell you this.
What the fuck, bro?
So let me tell you this. I'm getting some really major feedback from you, Gar. Yeah. So let me tell you this.
Still
Okay,
bad. I'm sorry.
that's better. Yeah,
No.
that's better. So let me tell you this. All right. That does sound like a brother, doesn't it? Let's hear the colorful commentary.
Oh shit. What the fuck?
You know what I mean? They came in with the sneak missiles. Whoop whoop whoop. Bang,
All right.
bang. Blah, they
Okay.
blah, they blah.
Okay. It makes sense because he tells you that they're messing up the Dimona nuclear power plant. This is where they have our people.
Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. What? Oh my God. Whoa.
That brother's is witnessing that thing firsthand. Should I really have gone to this
Whoa.
fake land?
Right? Honestly.
Oh shit. What the fuck is going on right now?
Look, you know what? You know what's a messed up thing? You can tell that they put black folks right there in the hood because they don't give them the siren. Look at that. They don't give them the siren like a minute too late.
Yeah, the siren was pretty what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, I don't know. What's the word? Useless? There you go.
It's
Useless.
useless. Yeah, there was too little, too late. I mean, let's continue this because this was very dramatic.
They fucking Dimona up.
Wait a second.
What?
Understand?
They fucking Dimona up.
These are the Dimona area.
What the fuck?
That's where black folks are at. Those are our
Look
people
at
that
this
went
shit.
there.
Bro, this some next level shit right here. Look at this shit.
Yo, why does that look like? That looks like some Close Encounters of the Third Kind right there.
Does it looks like the mothership's about to land?
Doesn't it? Doesn't it? That's the alien invasion that you don't want to be a part of. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
It's sad that our people there that are just there, like foolishly, becoming collateral damage for this nonsense.
Collateral damage. But understand, they're there at Dimona and they're there at the nuclear power plant. Because why? Can you say canaries in the coal mine? Can you say canaries in the coal mine?
Flies in the ointment.
No, look, if they go down, look, you know that there's a radiation leak. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. I'm trying to understand because I never heard that. I mean, I've heard that, that expression, but yeah, I mean, for them to just move right next to a nuclear plant is, well, honestly, there's a nuclear plant not too far away from in Jersey. Where's that? Edison, right? Rahway, around that area, next to Newark. There's a power plant, but yeah,
This was the video I was trying to find.
Whoa.
Look at all that.
Look how many is coming down. Oh my God. What
So
the
it's
fuck?
disengaged.
Bro, it's like
It's now
Independence
having.
Day out. Oh shit. What? Whoa. Ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. Whoa. What the fuck, bro?
yo, that's insane. That's crazy.
That was posted 9 hours ago. That was posted 9 hours ago.
I mean, if they go back and forth for days, man, something's gonna give. They're gonna have to do whatever option that they, blasphemously put our ancestors' name towards to whatever countermeasure they have. That option, I don't even want to call it what they call it, because there's no way they're gonna be able to defend themselves from this. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I'm not a military strategist or analyst. That's just my common view. You can't trade these blow for blow for days on end or weeks on end. Something has to give.
Yeah, this is posted about an hour ago, so I don't know. This is Camille Moscow. He's talking about the hypersonic Fata, and folks were taking videos. I want to.
Walk home! Whoa!
Oh snap! Those are people running.
Yeah, there they are.
Yo.
Walk home! Whoa!
Wow. I said we out. I said we out.
Yeah.
I said they're running their flip flops and all. Flip flops and all. We out.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if those flip flops have sports mode in them. But the Crocs that got the sports mode, the strap in the back.
Flip the strap up for sports mode. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't even know if would you try to like go underground at that point, because running seems ceaseless. It's like
you just lay on the ground at that point. You lay on the ground, you get into a defensive posture where you cross your leg and you put your hands behind your neck. That's the best work. That's the best thing that you can do.
Yeah. Wow.
Said introducing the Fatah. My goodness. Look, you can't be saying you better run. Nah, they said nah. If you live in Jaffa or Tel Aviv, you need to run.
Better.
They were telling them if you live in Jaffa or Tel Aviv, need to run. They said you don't tell the supreme leader. Tonight, the IRGC announced the use of first-generation Fatah missile for the first time, using it to strike Tel Aviv in this attached video. I don't know if we got this one yet. I wouldn't be in them high rises if I were them.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I would want to be high rise either. Like, come on now. Like, even if it doesn't hit you, whatever shock or, you know, I don't know what the word is, could bring that building down. Aftershock of the missile could bring that building down.
Those are the interceptors. They're all trying to come on up. Those are the videos I was showing. Those are the interceptors. And the missile, that was a Fatah. That missile just went right through the interceptors.
The interceptors are the ones just going straight up. It's hard to tell, kind of. I don't know.
So you hear the impact, that's the shock wave.
So that's a missile right there going, and
that's the interceptor. That's the interceptor being launched. What you just saw that streaked across, that was a Fatah. That was a hypersonic that could glide, that could maneuver.
So technically, the interceptor is either supposed to give off a signature to block it or to hit it directly.
No, so what's been launched? Those are the interceptors. Those are your surface-to-air missiles, your anti-air missiles. They're trying to sniff off of the radars, but they really can't ping the radar because they're not able to match.
It's so much faster.
Yeah, they can't match the trajectory.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So they can't return, obviously, they can't return that back to the ground. So there's the Fatah. That's Fatah right there. And it's going to make it to its target. That's the explosion on the target. That was a little flash. Light comes down. Like lightning. Right? It's like lightning. Light comes before the sound. So the interceptors, they're basically worthless.
Yeah.
Each interceptor costs about $1 million. Those, whatever's being shot up, that's $1 million. That's what's burning up in the air. So trying to sustain something like that is not very feasible. And a lot of these videos that had been posted with the Fatahs, the Fatah ones, they're, yeah. Here's something, this may be in Spanish. Iran demonstrates the control of the skies, or who controls the skies. Controla los cielos. Controlar los cielos, the skies. Yep. He puts on in here the night that Tel Aviv didn't, I think, see or witness missiles, hypersonic missile, Iranian hypersonic missiles. Cambian el juego, changed the game. Iran demuestra or teaches or shows who controls the skies. So
Yeah,
that
the
was a rough.
propulsion of those things is even scary.
Mm-hmm. So I had to give you a little bit of some Spanish. Yeah, but this is very interesting.
Someone in the comments said, Did US make it official that they are joining this war?" Yes. Yeah, as of
Well,
yesterday.
they're cryptic about it. They're not going to say that
Yeah.
they've officially joined it until probably Thursday, Friday.
I'm thinking the same thing. Thursday and Friday is always the time when it goes down or when they're
Yes.
trying to do something, because then that gives them the markets time or whatever economic economic fallout or economic
You always want economic fallout when? On the weekends. So people can't really access their money. That's how that goes. So basically, Trump said it without really saying it. And then Trump will demonstrate it on let's see, probably Thursday night, Friday. And again, they like to do things Friday night because that's when the markets close. So anticipate that they're going to do it on Friday when the markets close. So only 8 minutes, 6 missiles were hit or en Antillon, have flown into Tel Aviv. In premiere at the first this night, Iran threw or shot the missiles, hypersonic missiles, the Qassem Basir, the Palestinian 2, the Fatah 2, and the Kabar, for a total 10 missiles, hypersonics had hit Israel. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, so they're showing it. It looks like a lot of the stuff that they are showing is not going to be English based. We ran into that yesterday with folks from the UK posting. Yeah, it won't be long. Oh no, our ships aren't going to. That look, understand they have our ships there. I know that people hate what I'm going to be saying, but they have our ships there, so our ships can be cannon fodder. They have our people there, so our people can be the cannon fodder. Because when Iran does hit, that's going to be the breakout moment that they're wanting for us to really lend them our voices, our energy, our essence, whatever you want to call it. This is from 0 Point. He says this. Iran's Fatah 1 hypersonic missile strikes Israel in Operation Honest Promise 3. I thought it was True Promise, but whatever. Sending a bold message of power to Tel Aviv's warmongering ally. Supreme Leader Khamenei declares the battle begins after Trump called for unconditional surrender. That was 2 hours ago. These are the missiles that are being used. That's what I was saying. A lot of these posts are going to be in different languages, mainly Spanish and French. You even have now Weon. Let's say Weon is much more credible. So there's a lot of credible Indian news sites that I like to go to because of the fact that they will tell you what's happening. They're really biased towards Israel, unfortunately, but at least they will give you a lot more reporting.
Yeah, I mean, First Post is what I follow, even though First Post may have showed itself a couple of times because I remember when I was doing Exploring the Motherland News, they were trying to make it seem like Niger's leader was a dictator or something, but other than that, I mean, they're pretty unbiased most of the time, but whenever they have an agenda, you could see it.
So this is today. This is Times of India. Yeah, this is the Camille Moscow. Yeah, those were the strikes.
It's like, what's stopping them from just unloading the whole clip, so to speak? Like, they could really do it if they wanted to.
Yeah, but I'm getting feedback. Yeah, but the reality is, this is all controlled. Again, I say it's all controlled, and understandably, I don't think that they have the capabilities to allow for the migration just yet. They're trying to migrate them on out of there. That's my opinion.
You mean migrate the people or the equipment? I'm trying to.
People.
Oh.
The equipment stays. Everything stays. Everything gets blown up. The people will get migrated. However, you're not going to have a full capacity of people getting migrated, right? So they're going to talk about acceptable losses and things of that nature. Who's going to be your acceptable losses? Your first responders, your military personnel, older folks.
Yeah, that's some real war rhetoric. Acceptable losses. Because I was listening to a Canadian prepper this morning, and he was showing the video of all the people trying to leave Tehran.
Yeah, they're going to be They're going to be working on both sides of this thing. How you live in Hampton Roads? Yeah, we're not ready for war with that. Yeah, well, you better try to hit 460. You better try to hit 460 and head as west can be. You better try and get on over to Blacksburg.
Knows all these random roads.
I'm giving them the back roads. You better get down to Suffolk.
The only thing I know is, I gotta go on I-95 and keep on going down south.
You better hit the U.S. Don't even stop in Petersburg. You better just keep going on I-85. Get up into the mountains. That's
I-85 goes from west to east, and 95 goes from north to south. Am I correct or no?
I-85 goes from it goes southwest to northeast. Yeah, it cuts across Charlotte. It cuts across the triangle, and then it kind of empties out a little south of Richmond, Virginia.
But then again, in order for me to go down south from here, from Jersey, I eventually have to pass Virginia and Maryland and DC.
Brother Garth, your best bet is to take so I'm trying to see how you can get off. Because you may have to try to get down to Freehold, take Black Horse or White Horse Pike. I think you can make it with both the Black Horse or the White Horse Pike. But I know the Black Horse Pike will run you into 322.
You mean Freehold where? Because Freehold. Well, I'm not gonna say
because you'll need the one thing I would say, you need to get down into Camden County, not Camden, but Camden County. Then I believe you have the White Horse Pike that would be able, that crosses over, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just trying to go from memory. It crosses over Atlantic City Expressway. Because kind of when you cross over Atlantic City Expressway, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's when you're kind of in that South Jersey area.
Oh yes, that's like as south as you could get. Like I could take Route 9 all the way down to there, basically.
Yeah, and I think that Route 9 is actually your traditional Black Horse Pike. We just called it the Black Horse Pike, but I think Route 9 is the actual Black Horse Pike for South Jerseyans. Yeah. But that would then take you, it will cross over into 322 just a little, not in Sicklerville. I believe more like near Deptford, Runnymede.
Basically near like almost Delaware. And
yes, because 322 is the Delaware Memorial Bridge. Then when you hit Delaware Memorial Bridge 322, you can then, because Delaware is a little interesting, because then you can hit US 1. You can hit US 1 in other places, or 17. But yeah, because you're just kind of stuck in that traffic. You're going to be stuck in that traffic until you get past DC, for real.
Yeah.
Once you get past DC, to me, that's when you're in the South.
Yeah, basically, because I'm thinking that's basically like DC is basically the choke point from the northeast upward and southeast downward.
Yeah. Yeah, because you hit DC, you hit 95. Once you hit 95, you could take 95 down. That wouldn't be that bad. You could take 95 down. But I would hit interior because of all of the other major cities that you would kind of hit on 95. And really, you don't really hit that many major cities on 95 south to DC. Am I wrong? I don't think you really hit major cities.
I don't think so. Well, then again, I've never. My uncle and my dad drove from.
You don't make those. Yeah, you don't make those drives, huh? Yeah, because
from Jersey to. They've driven as far as from Jersey to Atlanta, and that was like a 14-hour drive. But I was too young to really analyze what roads they were taking.
Yeah, you don't be because even Raleigh sits off of like I-40 and 95. This sits off of there like 20, 30 miles for Raleigh. I don't think you hit really any major cities because even Savannah sits off in 95 for like at least 20 miles. Even Charleston sits off for like another 25, 30 miles. You don't hit major cities. I mean, even Savannah, you don't really, it's not Savannah, it sits off another like 20, 30 miles. The only thing that you hit as a major city off of 95 between DC, I'm going to say this, well, not just DC, Richmond. From Richmond is down to Jacksonville. Let me know if I'm wrong in the chat.
And
I
then,
believe,
and then
yeah.
it feels like driving through Virginia is like,
Oh, that's long.
it's long, and then like you go through North Carolina and South Carolina pretty fast. Like,
No, North Carolina's long. South Carolina's long. That's at least five. That's at least 4 or 5 hours driving through both of them. Driving through Virginia is about 3.5 hours. So I believe, yeah, you wouldn't hit much. But you can also, but here's the great thing about when you get out of the DC area, you have a couple of different bypasses and roads all throughout the South. You got 301 and you got US 1. 301 and US 1. You even have 17.
is US one the same as like US one here up in New Jersey or no?
Yes, it is. It's the exact same.
Because then there's US, there's 1 to 9, and then there's US one, and then there's Route 9, like, and then I think at one time, at some point, maybe no, actually US 1 to 9 is a completely different thing than Route 9, I believe.
It's 95 South. Yeah, 95 would be completely bonkers, especially as you're trying to cross, because I think 95 hits the Ben Franklin, if I'm not mistaken. It's either the Walt Whitman or the Ben Franklin. I know someone, you know, up in that area will let me know. But I mean, but you could also, but here's also one of the things, you could also head west. You know what I'm saying? You can also head over into Allentown. You can also head over into um Harrisburg and skirt those areas.
Allentown. Allentown West. I mean,
Yeah, because that's what, that's 78, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. That's
it
78.
is. It is 78. I
You
mean,
know,
the
and
only time
that
I really go
bypasses.
west is to like go to like Princeton or something.
And that bypasses a lot of that northeast traffic per se. But you're gonna be hitting a lot of the mountains and areas there, kind of near those foothills of the Appalachia.
Yeah,
Because over in the area you have Stroudsburg and
West Jersey. I mean, literally the only thing literally the only time I go drive in like West Jersey is to either go to like Princeton or maybe Trenton is as far as west I'll go, or I've driven. It's like West Jersey really isn't too much there.
But it gets you out the city. That's what I'm trying to say. It
Yeah.
gets you out of the city. It gets you off of you're still kind of on the I-95 corridor, kind of, sort of, but then you can kind of maneuver around because really once you're kind of west of Philly, you can maneuver around, get through, areas west of Baltimore, because I think that's your 81 and even your 83. and then that actually, I believe that then will help you to loop around, DC. But I think you could do either 301 to loop around DC if I'm not mistaken. I think 301 actually hits uh east of DC at that time. So I think you're still kind of I think you're still kind of a little messed up. But um but I think once you hit the south though, because you can make it from New Jersey down to South Virginia on one tank of gas. You can. You
I mean,
can.
I can. I mean, I've done it before. I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure I've driven from Jersey to DC without having to fill up once on a full tank of gas.
Hmm. Yeah, it's less than 200 miles. It really is. It's less than 200 miles. Now, but that's also the traffic. And, and maybe just think about this. Maybe that's why they were trying to get rid of all those federal jobs to thin out people from DC before this all went down.
And the thing about it is too, when I was driving, like it was pretty smooth until you get to the DMV area, and then it was like 2 hours of traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. You get about 2 hours of traffic. You hit I think Woodbridge, that area. Once you get to around the Quantico area, just north of Fredericksburg. Yeah, then you're kind of in that traffic area. But once you get past Fredericksburg, you're actually in the country, and then that's where you'll hit Richmond. Definitely get gas in Richmond. Definitely get gas in Richmond. But
Oh
then
no,
you
you don't
hit
want to get gas in the sundown town? No, I'm just joking.
no, because they're all sundown town. Trust
Yeah, I was
me.
about to say,
Trust me.
yeah, literally, trust me, I know. And even driving down, like you were saying, even driving down south to like Atlantic City, like I never stop in between. I'm always going from, Monmouth County to Atlantic City straight. Like, there's no stops there because
Mhm.
those are all sundown towns as well.
Mhm. Oh yeah, you're gonna be in sundown town territory until you hit about oh Greensboro area, Durham, Greensboro, basically the triangle. Yeah, yeah, you need to have a paper map. If you're not comfortable driving those areas, if you don't really know,
Yeah.
you need to have a paper map.
Or map
Exactly.
quested. I'm map questing. I'm just joking. I'll get an actual map.
Yeah. Get a gas station, get yourself an actual map if they still sell them. That Rand McNally's, it's nice to think about that preparation, especially where you're at. I mean, more than likely, understand how you may have to up and leave and how you may have to consolidate. That's why I'm always thinking, um, even here where I'm at in South Florida, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if I'd stay in Tampa if now when I tell people,
I would drive to actually no, I wouldn't say, I was just about to say I'd drive to like the Keys or whatever, as further south in Florida away from the mainland as possible. But
no, because look, I look at it like this. Remember when I was telling you how I would, if I was Russians or Venezuelans or Cubans, understand you got your armies to the south. Remember, China was all up in Cuba, and so were the Russians not too long ago.
doing those military war games or whatever, yeah.
Yes, they were.
So they're trying to like choke off the Caribbean or something.
I wouldn't say they choke off the Caribbean. If I were the Russians looking at that in a way that you see the terrain and things of that nature, it's so easy to have a choke point here in Florida. It's very easy because you have natural terrain with the swamps, with the roads, and things of that nature. Remember, it took a major army led by Andrew Jackson to conquer Florida in the 1800s. Because of the type of terrain that Florida provides. Remember, black folks weren't just heading north, they were also heading south. That's why black folks will tell you, oh, they're Native Americans. Yeah, okay. They didn't really understand the idea that black people were coming south because at that time it was a free state at that time with the Spanish. But now you can have a foothold on ground in Florida. So that's why an invasion would always happen within Florida. I don't think that an invasion would necessarily happen in Miami. They always try to say that it does. I don't think so. I say that they would probably invade more so the west side. That's a little bit easier. And then you have a strategic choke point of the Gulf of Mexico, because that affects all the Gulf of Mexico. Because at that time, I highly doubt that Mexico would be on the U.S. side. Highly doubt it. And the Yucatan Peninsula with the western part of Cuba, there'd be no goods coming into the United States. That would be a blockade. Do y'all see where this is all going? I'm giving you my military mind in this because a lot of people may not and they did not want to think that we were at this level. Because the reality is we don't know how quickly this thing could bubble up.
I mean, yes, we are literally, at this point, timelines are useless. I mean, not useless, but timelines are not like we can't, we can't calculate this. This is the point of no return. They're just bombing each other left and right. Like I said, something has to give until it comes here. They said they're not letting up. There's going to be back and forth. And the rhetoric that, what do you say? Control. Yeah, what do I say? What am I saying? Undeniable surrender or something like that.
Yeah, the unconditional surrender. Unconditional surrender. Who talks like that? You want to know how crazy that would be if anybody in the Middle East said, we want the unconditional surrender of the United States, of Trump in the United States. They would, what?
Sounds like a Die Hard movie plot, or all those. Like, what was the one that I saw recently that you said to watch? Delta Strike. It sounds like a Delta Strike movie plot line. That's like everything they want, so they could, have a credence to what they say, to all their propaganda. That would be crazy.
Mm-hmm. They want this is what they wanted. Don't get it twisted. This is what they wanted. This is what they asked for. I have the video in here, or I put the link in here to this story. Israel is running low on defensive interceptors, official says. Shortage of aerial interceptors has set off a scramble to augment Israel defenses. Israel is running low on defensive aerial interceptors, according to a U.S. official, raising concern about the country's ability to counter long-range ballistic missiles from Iran if the conflict isn't resolved soon. The U.S. has been aware of the capacity problems for months, the official said, and Washington has been augmenting Israel's defenses with systems on the ground, at sea, and in air. Basically, they're in the fight. Since the conflict escalated in June, the Pentagon has sent more missile defense assets into the region, and now there is concern about the U.S. burning through interceptors as well. Here's the thing. Every time you hear their puff pieces about Iran is low on ammo, Iran is low on this, I said, you know what? I always say this. Give it at least 48 hours, and then they'll tell you the real deal. No. Israel has been running low on those things because Israel is constantly under bombardment, not just from Iran, but it has been from the Houthis
And Hezbollah.
All the U.S. did I think like 2 months ago, was basically confirm a pact with the Houthis, so the Houthis weren't targeting U.S. ships.
And now that I think about it now, Karis, this is why, was it 2 months ago that Trump was trying to posture and try to, get the U.S. out of involvement with the Ukraine war? Maybe.
Yes.
That's why I'm thinking. Because they knew that eventually they would have to support Israel for this.
Exactly. So they don't want to have the shockwave of folks in the market understanding, that let's just give a number, that 4:45 in the evening, Eastern Standard Time, June 20th, that when the U.S. drops and supports the Israeli offensive into Iran. So pay attention on Thursday. Thursday happens to be what? Juneteenth. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, man. Too many coincidences. Juneteenth.
Friday is June 20th. So what do you think people are going to be doing if they have, Thursday off? They're going to probably take Friday off too. So why? So people really aren't paying attention. Hey, go on out there, get your get your beginning of summer on.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Because the 21st is the official day of summer.
Yep. And we did not have the capacity for that. That's why Ukraine is getting beat up. That's why Zelensky was trying to run over to the G7 to plead with Donald. And Donald, he popped smoke. He said, I'm out. Because Zelensky and the Ukraine, they know what time it is. Europe isn't going to support this forever. And remember, it was the U.S. that drove NATO and Ukraine, with the help of Zelensky, into this quagmire. Remember all the mess from Biden and everything else? And Putin was like, don't do it. Don't do it. And they did it.
Yeah, I mean, and also this puts the UK in a precarious situation as well. If they're going to keep on supporting Ukraine through NATO, because, you know, China and Russia's, involvement with Iran. So they're literally cornered on all sides, NATO and America. It's either you're going to keep on, supporting this effort or the other effort. You can't do both. This is really, the Most High is really bringing these nations into the time of decision and judgment. It's kind of crazy to see this.
Exactly. But if you didn't know, about these outcomes, see, these are unexpected outcomes for them. These have always been expected outcomes for us.
Yep, and they're gonna start fighting each other. I think it was Brother Walt that sent me a news article yesterday that they're protesting in Spain as well now because
Yeah,
of
they don't want this.
living and everything else. And as the guy said in his dream, didn't he say all Western nations were going crazy and they had to like lock them down and stuff like that?
Hmm. Yeah, because they know what time it is. They know what they're about to get drug into. Nobody wants to lose their lives for an authoritarian power. I don't care how much they try to say that they're the, police of the world and the hammer of the whole world and all of that stuff. Yeah, and the Chinese sent a plane into Iran. Yes, they did.
Oh, when was that?
That was a couple of days ago. Yes, they did.
And I also do remember China saying something about China also sent aid to Gaza as well a week or so ago. I remember
Yes,
that.
they did. Yes, they did. And they didn't have it televised. They didn't want to have it televised. So, yeah, let me show you this. Yeah, China sends its third Boeing 747 transport plane. Its third to Iran in 3 days. Crossed the border with Kazakhstan, headed to Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan, and then disappeared from radar as they approached Iran. Weapons and equipment, they said, or steamed dumplings.
All the stands.
Yeah, basically, yep. That's where they were crossing over. So China is supporting Iran in this war. But you know what though? They shouldn't really say anything because the US is actively supporting Israel. So what?
Exactly.
Do you see these air corridors? You see those air corridors? It's like nothing is going into Iran, Israel, Jordan, Syria, Iraq. That sucker is a black hole
Looks like
for planes.
it looks like a risk game board.
Hmm. Can I get a flight into Baghdad or can I get a flight into Kuwait City? Nope. You can hardly get flights into UAE. That's really all the flights. That's Riyadh. UAE, Riyadh. I see flights going to Abu Dhabi. You have a lot in Cairo. Yeah, that's funny. Mm. So yeah, so the flights, they're now being paralyzed. Well, yeah, so when they said Congress is trying to limit Trump's wartime power, said they don't understand the commander in chief. Yes, Trump can declare war anytime he wants. He
I'm
can
the
enter into a
boss.
conflict. Yeah, he actually can for the purpose of securing the nation. It's up to Congress to fund that war.
Yeah, you said that he had like 60 days, and
Yeah,
he then he
yes.
had to get approval from
Hmm.
not that like procedures and protocol matter at this point. It just seems like everything it was just straight up draconian, and we're literally in the galactic empire, and Palpatine can just do whatever he wants. That's basically what it seems like.
Exactly. Vote against the War Act. Vote against that. Yeah, if you vote against that War Act, do you want your family at risk? If you're a congressman, if you're a senator, do you, as a lawmaker, are you going to put your family at risk?
Yeah, and that's funny how exactly how you're saying you're bringing up politicians, because I mean I know this is fiction, but fiction is so much a real basically steeped in nonfiction, and literally there was politicians who were against the empire and their lives were in danger, and they had to like move and had to do all this other stuff. And yeah, this we're literally living in like an empire. This is crazy.
Well, yeah, we've been in an empire. We just didn't recognize it.
Yeah, now it's just obviously now everything is before it was very covert. Now it's just overt now, and there's no hiding. And again, the Most High is making it plain for people to make a decision.
Mm. Here's some articles here. Hegseth defers to general on plans for Iran.
And even in the reporting, all of his officials are contradicting what he's saying. The chain of communication and command is just at this point. I know it's done on purpose, but Rubio said one thing the other
Hmm.
day, and Trump said, no, not so." And all this. You really can't trust what you're hearing unless, well, I'm not even going to say if Trump says it, then it's going to be fact or whatever. But, these government officials are contradicting one another, and they're not really, giving you what his real sentiment or plan is. And I think that's all by design anyway.
Yeah, here's this. Hegseth defers to general on Pentagon's plan for Iran. U.S. Central Command Chief Eric Kurilla is overruling other top Pentagon officials. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has given an unusual level of authority to a single general in the latest Middle East crisis. And you want to know why? You want to know why that Pete Hegseth has given the authority over to the general? I'm going to tell you this because he's not qualified. He's not qualified. This was way too much. This was way too above him. He couldn't understand all of the joint strategic operational, strategic, tactical, special operations, maneuvers, things of that nature. You actually have to get trained for that. You actually have to go to classes for that, school for that. You have service schools. You just don't stay there in one place. You have to know about all of the other services and their interactions and their missions and how they support one another. He doesn't know about all that. It's real easy to be plopped on the ground, know your plot counts, understand where your tracker is stating, and then give your location and position so someone else knows where you are at and are tracking if you are on the target and on the objective. It's a little easier just to put the bullet downrange and capture the objective and say, we're here, and then you sit down. And then you wait for all of the shops, your S2 to do what? To understand the environment. Your S3 to operate so they know what it is that they need to continue to track, or if they haven't had their objective, or if their objective has moved. Your S4 so you can resupply. Your admin to make sure that you can account for any type of troops. Folks are injured, folks that have died. And then you have your other commands in terms of your plans and for your J5, your communications, make sure that everybody is up and going, satellite comms. You really don't have to worry about a J7, J8, and J9 staffs at that level, on the tactical level, because those are more your strategic staffing. If you've never been a division corps group, those are going to be issues. And now, to me, looking at all this, he's basically showing I don't have the capacity of doing the actual job. Isn't that what usually always happens with them?
Yes.
This is what happens when you have an anti-DEI hire. You're just learning. They're now just going to learn it the hard way.
When nepotism comes and bites you in the butt.
No, it's not nepotism in this case. When racism bites you in the butt.
Is it? Well, I mean, okay, but I mean, isn't it nepotism? It could be a form. Well, I don't know. You could talk about the origin of words, but nepotism. I'm putting in people I like, or people I know, or people I think will, bolster my agenda. I mean, but I guess that is different from nepotism. That's
No, nepotism is actually dealing with familial ties. Familial ties, yes. And that could also extend to different, friendships and things of that nature. I don't know if it was necessarily a friendship on in there, but this was but in terms of nepotism, I know it's familial, it's family. This one was all about white insecurity, Caucasian insecurity, and trying to ensure that the military was, quote unquote, secure. Was quote unquote, yeah, J0. This one was cronyism.
back to the good old days.
Yeah, this one was straight cronyism. And that just shows you that he doesn't really know what to do. Anybody could talk talking points. All right, I already have a script. I can just tell you my script off the top of my head. What What's the game plan, General? I can tell you the very first look. I can tell you what that game plan is going to be. It's because it's the same type of theater campaign doctrine that they always have. And it really doesn't change. Maybe about one or two sentences, and they change the author because from McKenzie, before McKenzie, it was Austin. Before Austin, it was Mattis. Before Mattis, it was a foul. And the list goes on and on.
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, exactly. And the list goes on and on. Now, because I was one of those actual soldiers, I was one of those actual Marines that really did care about, reading things, because I really did care about my people not getting killed. I really did. I was that type of officer. I read the stuff. I read the theater campaign plans. I read the strategic plans. I read all of those global campaign plans. I read all the things that the Pentagon would release. I was a nerd like that because I did not want to be caught lacking, because I knew that my position as a black man in the military, you have to do more. You just can't say, oh, I'll get to it. I read a little bit of it. No, you better read some things verbatim, and you better have one or two quotes of what stood out to you in that article so you can answer some questions. Because as the intel officer, you're always asked the questions, even if it doesn't pertain to you, even if it doesn't pertain to even the job that you do.
Yep, that's exactly, whatever job I was doing, I was observant into all, the different things that may not be directly correlated, but may help me and, may help me be able to help others and whatnot. But they look down on that. They look like, who are you to get out of line? This is your job. You don't have to learn about that, or you don't have to know that. But yeah, that's all I had to say. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, absolutely. Because we're always expected to do more and beyond than our jobs. Every single time. If I'm lying in here, Gentiles, if I'm lying in here, let me know. Well, you should have known that. You should have known that. And then when you do answer it, oh man, how do you know all that? Well, what happened if I didn't know it? I'd always ask them that question. So what do you think would happen if I didn't know that? Oh yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, I was a pain in their behinds. I was a pain in their behinds. Because why? Because it was like you couldn't get rid of me that easy. Because then when you got too good, then they'd always want you up in the areas around the 4 stars, and it's like, I didn't want to do all this. Listen. If Hegseth's strategic command was, well, we meet in the lobby, we'll put a team together, and when the bus drops us off, we glide to our positions.
Glide.
And we'll take out our shovels and we'll start getting wood and supplies. And then there should be ammo drops. As we run around trying to get to the objective, as the circle gets smaller, this dude's gonna be This dude is going to be laying out a Fortnite.
Fortnite.
That's how my son does it on Fortnite.
SOCOM 2.
Oh my
Ghost of
goodness.
Recon. Call of Duty.
This dude is going to reenact a modern warfare script. Get out of here.
Rainbow Six. All those games.
This dude's going to talk about you run through the jungle and you just start shooting everywhere.
And then you'll eventually get a streak, and then you'll be able to get air support from us.
This dude's gonna lay out Contra. This dude's gonna think about all the fighting video games from back in the day.
And this is where we're gonna drop care packages.
My goodness.
And as long as you're in the respawn area, no, I'm joking. It's not funny, but that's literally.
I respawn with my Tesla robot. Oh my goodness. I wish that this was a joke, Garth. I wish.
I know. It's not really.
It's not. It's not.
It's very sobering.
I want to finish this article because this is really. These articles that are coming out, I like to give you the timestamps. 5:55 a.m. So now, in the next 48 hours, they're going to then they're going to now shape this in the media. Why they have to go to war? Because why? This is now the information operations. You're going to go to war, but now we got to tell you why you're going to go to war, even though you really don't want to go to war. And Ironhawk, who was pushing for a strong military response against the country, United States Central Command Chief General Eric Kurilla, has played an outsized role in escalating clashes between Tehran and Israel, with officials noting earlier all his requests have been approved. Why? Because the Secretary of Defense doesn't know what he's doing. Here you go, carte blanche. I don't know what I'm doing. Make me look good. Because I don't know what I'm doing. From more aircraft carriers to fighter planes in the region. The pugnacious general, who is known as the Gorilla, is overruling other top Pentagon officials and playing a quiet but decisive role in the country's next steps on Iran, according to a former and current defense official, a diplomat, and a person familiar with the dynamic. That kind of figures. The reason that kind of figures is this. If you had a strong Secretary of Defense, your SecDef would actually be coordinating with your Secretary of State. Do you know how discombobulated everything is? You only give less than 12 hours, 6 hours really, for civilian personnel to leave areas that's going to be affected. That's a failing of the State Department, and that's also a failing of the Secretary of Defense's office. Because you also need to have the necessary pushback. Well, Karis, how do you know? Because I've been involved in both of those.
Imagine it's very nerve-wracking.
I have, and I could say I have. You don't show up and do BDA on something that has been hit and
You
not
can't,
think
brother Karras, you
battle
can't just give
damage
out those
assessment.
acronyms. You got, what is BDA?
Battle damage assessment on the
Okay.
ground, battle damage assessments,
Okay.
and not think that you could be hit because they know that there are people that are there to see and to witness. You want to know how that even clears? Because there's State Department people that have to talk to other people to say, hey, we got to get our eyes on this. Please hold off on targeting this place for at least 96 hours. So people can see and understand, and we can clean up and we can attend to the wounded, to the injured. When I told you this, I said, look, they don't got no State Department. The global scope with K. Millie, yep. Government agency. Yeah. I wish I was lying. I wish I could, I'm just here for your cash apps. I'm just here because I need you all to, hook a brother up. No. I'm trying to tell you all the truth. By 2 or 3 witnesses. And I know there's more people that's going to be saying more stuff because why? That's why I signed up for your classes. Time to become a real foreign affairs officer. For real. I don't know how many people think that this place is going to be around, but it's all falling pretty quickly. I do have to say this. While all this is going on, there is so much traction that we're getting for our brothers and sisters on the continent. It is not even funny. Sometimes I can't even believe it. Wow, thank you, Father. Wow, thank you, Father. Wow, thank you, Father. The way that things are aligning. Oh, you think that things are moving with Israel, Iran. You mm, mm, mm. We're in a time where if this was about 6-7 months ago, I would have said, yeah, right. No. in
Yeah.
less than 90 days. In less
Yeah.
than 90 days.
Yeah, that timeline. I remember you're like, this has to happen, that has to happen, but like I'm saying now, I don't know, what timeline could you even prognosticate at this point? We have too many loose cannons and too many unpredictable variables that could even allow you to give a timeline, because these people are maniacs. They don't think like us. They literally have blood shed and war on their minds. They're a warlike people.
Well, let me finish this article up so you can truly understand where this thing is at and where I'm coming from. According to a former and current defense official, a diplomat, and a person familiar with the dynamic, Hegseth's apparent deference to Kurilla undermines the image the Pentagon chief has sought to project of a tough talking leader who has vowed to reduce the influence of four-star generals and reassert civilian control. If the senior military guys come across as tough and war fighters, Hegseth is easily persuaded to the point of view, said the former official. Kurilla has been very good at getting what he wants, i.e., he doesn't know how to push back, i.e., he doesn't really even know how to analyze things so he can understand how this situation works. Nobody's going to give you the real deal in this position. Oh, we got the best. We got the best. We got everything. We got everything. Oh, Iran is so bad. Iran is so this. Iran is so Iran. And now folks are wondering with them hypersonic missiles. Could we have been wrong about Iran? No. I don't think Iran's going to hit the nuke option. I believe that's what the U.S. is getting ready to use. And they will use it. They can try their bunker buster. They can try their Moab, their GBU 57, all they want. They can strap it to a B 52 all they want. The question in my mind is going to be this: will that B 52 even be able to make it through a pet, or will be able to make it to its target? That's going to be the question. Does Iran via Russia and China, or Russia and China via Iran, do you think that they may not have given them, something? Hey, here's this, here's that, use this. Try this. To me, this is the real proving grounds. Why not? If you were Russia or China, why not send on over stuff? Hey, we developed this. You try it. Let's see if it works. They're trying to test their capabilities. And yes, Iran was very, very patient to the point that it literally killed them. It was killing them. You can only bend over backwards. And they literally thought that they were going to shoot some things at them, and then Iran was going to bend over backwards. But they get that. You want to know what that is? I'm going to tell you this. In all of these countries that had acquiesced, that had bent over backwards, that had given this place, the big old head, because let's just face it, they were cowards. You want to know what that actually did? That actually helped to destroy this place. Oh, don't do anything. Don't do. Because they were cowards. And really, that rod of correction was never done on this place. Sometimes it's more loving to correct somebody. Hey, man, I'm just trying to make sure that you know these consequences. I like you. I really don't want to do you like this. That's why I'm trying to help you to understand, let's take your anger somewhere else and let's kind of decompress, because what I have for you is not what you want. They did not learn that. And that empowers them. What happens when you empower a toddler? What happens when you empower a child? They think that they're going to do what? They think that they're going to be able to do everything, have everything. It was the spirit of entitlement on this nation. And now you saw the spirit of entitlement that has been going through. Oh, they don't have anything. They don't really have anything. Do you see all these people hiding in shelters? Do you see all these people trying to run to other areas? Do you see all these people trying to get on yachts because their airspace is closed, because they're not letting any flights on out unless you are of a diplomatic high-level caliber? These folks are now trying to smuggle themselves out. They're trying to smuggle themselves out because why? Because they realize that in another 48 hours, it's going to get a whole lot worse. I told you this. It's not going to hit us like you think it's going to hit us. Not for at least a couple of weeks. Do we have months? I don't think we have months. Because this is a different scenario. You can quickly mobilize people. You can quickly get people in position. They don't like to talk about them submarines that's off of the American coast. You throw up 2 or 3 subs just to hit some key places in the United States, they will lose their minds. And they'll lose their minds, and guess what the crazy thing is? They're not going to fight anybody else. They're going to fight themselves. Because they're going to say to themselves, you brought us into this. Do you see what I was trying to say a couple of months ago? You'll quickly have some American forces, yes, you will, that will quickly spring on up. We have a rogue nation and we need to do something, because if not, we're going to get destroyed. Why do you think that people are talking about civil war? Oh, civil war. Oh, there's not going to be a civil war. Nowhere is going to be a civil war. No, the moment that one or two cities get smacked, they're going to have civil war. That's why I say this is the most dangerous time in history. That's not us. That's them. We're declaring we broke away from them. That's them. I guarantee you will have breakaways of states and regions like that. That's not us. Look, we're trying to control power, and we're trying to set everything straight. I'm just trying to give it to you from the realistic, practical sense of literally what's happening. Because see, everything's all in fine and dandy when those explosions are kept over there. The moment that those explosions they hit, oh, it's a condition. And I'm sorry, not many places have fallout shelters. Not many places have bunkers. And yeah, you're not even talking about the sleeper cells that's in here because of the uncontrolled immigration. We already told you immigration was going to be a problem. We already told you that immigration was a problem for black folks, but they didn't care because they did it on purpose. And they did that on purpose because they knew who it was actually injuring the most. They knew that. So no, I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for them. I really don't. I feel sorry for the people that they used to promote their agenda, because they came on in here thinking that they got all this and all that they were going to come up over black folks. Because why? Because that was told to them. That's what they were promised. Oh, you see, black people, they're lazy. Well, then what does that make you all? We don't come here and they don't give us stipends. Unless you worked in the government, you did your time, and that's still not even guaranteed. Yeah, they learned that lesson the hard way. Sorry, we're not immigrants. We were born here. Matter of fact, we were taken here. Matter of fact, technically speaking, we're prisoners of war. If you want to be truthful, we're victuals, we're captors. If they bring us back by law as a prisoner of war, they would have to restore things. That's why they don't want to bring us back. If you bring somebody back, you're then admitting guilt that they were stolen to begin with. Are you understanding that? But I guarantee you, like I had said, one of the first things that these folks will do to cripple America is that they're going to say, adios, black folks. Oh, and you got to pay them a little bit of something. Well, isn't that going to cripple us? Don't y'all be printing fake dollars anyway? Have you noticed why they did not want to show you Fort Knox? Because they didn't want to show you where the gold is supposed to be at. What do you have here? I'm going to bring stacks of cash that will be worthless. Are y'all seeing that now? Are y'all getting that now? Well, where's the gold? They don't even want to tell you where the gold's at. Why? Because if they tell us where the gold's at, then guess what we would be saying? Give us our gold. So, yes, as I was listening to the prophecy yesterday, as I was listening to Minister Yacoba yesterday, yeah, that time of peace. Well, yeah, you don't have to worry about, you know, having to leave. They're gonna kick you out. Are you even sure it's in New York? I don't even think that they have gold in this country. I'm just telling you. I don't think that they do. I think that whatever gold reserves that they've had, they sent it elsewhere to other countries. Whatever they did have, I believe that's probably, in my estimation, I believe it's in the Vatican. I believe it's in the Vatican. That's my personal opinion. So you ain't got no dollars pegged to no type of gold. That's why they're doing crypto. Well, if we can do the gold, you can't do any gold because they can't account for gold. Because if they account for gold, people then want to have a physical accounting, and they just give you a little bit of, here's this, here's something to make it look like it. Well, where's the rest? There's about 880,000 tons supposedly. They could have pegged the USD to gold a while ago, and that would have actually solved, I think, 75% worth of the debt at least. But why can't they use the gold? Why can't they solve the debt? Because honestly, I don't believe they have it. That's just my opinion. Remember, they're supposed to do the whole Fort Knox thing and nothing happened of that. And, just like they're supposed to release some files and the Jeffrey Epstein and all these other things. Remember the JFK and all the other good stuff all these things that supposedly, I didn't say that. That's what they were saying. Everything that they are doing, it's leading to ruin. Because why? Because this is now their time of decision. This is now their valley of decision. And now this is what they're doing to run headlong into destruction. The longtime military official who is close with Mike Waltz, the former national security advisor and nominee for U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, has had more face time with the president than most other generals, according to one of the people who, like others, was granted anonymity to discuss internal conversations. Kurilla is also at the end of his tenure leading U.S. Central Command, meaning he may be less fearful about pushing the president because he's almost on out of there. So he's trying to stay there. Kurilla's argument to send more U.S. weapons to the region, including air defensive, had gone against Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, and Pentagon Policy Chief Elbridge Colby, who have urged caution and overcommitting to the Middle East, according to the four people. Because why? They're not trying to get their forces wiped. Here it is. CENTCOM is trying to grab every asset they can from every other theater, the person familiar said, using an acronym to describe Pentagon's top military commander in the Middle East, which Kurilla leads. That's what CENTCOM always does. And that is true. CENTCOM referred questions to Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell, who said the defense secretary draws an official knowledge and then makes a decision about what to recommend to the president. Hegseth empowers all of his combatant commanders the same way by decentralizing command and harnessing their real-world expertise, he said. That's a nice canned statement. Our senior leaders are in lockstep and will continue to work in unison to deliver on President Trump's national security agenda. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Do y'all hear what is y'all hear what they're saying in this article? Let me go through here. This is a big one. CENTCOM is trying to grab every asset they can from every other theater. The person familiar said. Do you all know what that means? Do you all see what that says? Do you all see what's coming? Pile everything up. People, equipment, pile it in there. They're not going to hit our military targets. They're not going to do that. The revelation will not be televised. Yeah. The revelation, the prophecy will not be televised. All right. Yakoba's not a prophet, but I'm gonna call Yakoba Mr. Ain't no 400-year prophecy. Ain't no 400-year prophecy. They're running into war. And remember, you just saw that demonstration, what? Not even a week ago. You got to have the biggest, you got to have the bestest, you got to get everything in there. You got to show the whole world. Pride cometh before destruction. All the time. All the time. That's not my words. This is here, Proverbs chapter 16. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Better it is to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. Theater is like area of war. It's like area of something. So there, the theater is the areas of the Middle East. Look, if we didn't break this thing down biblically, if we didn't break this thing down prophetically, honestly, we wouldn't have a chance. We would just be Humpty Dumpty and, going through life. But do you know that that's why the Most High had awakened his people? Do you know that that's why we are a peculiar people? Because we will stand up, we will shout, we will talk, we will lift up our voices, and we'll speak the truth. We'll speak the truth to our neighbors. We'll speak the truth to anybody. I don't care if you're Gentile. Did I ever say that this is just Hebrew specific? This is the Israelite specific. This is just Hebrew. No. If you didn't know, I've never said that on this channel, ever. Because I know. Nobody, look, if you're running for something, is anybody going to ever take the energy or time to tell any Gentile, you need to sit here so I can run and get away from safety? Get out of here. You're not going to entertain the conversation because why? You're going to be too busy trying to huff and puff and move your legs. You're going to be too busy trying to make sure that your heart doesn't give on out on you. You're going to be too busy trying to make sure that you don't have a cardiac event because The amount of stress and adrenaline that has overtaken your body can literally crush you. Why do men's hearts fail? It's that adrenaline. That adrenaline is a killer. Jeremiah 16, verse 11. Actually, I'm going to start here at verse 10. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt show this people all these words, and they shall say unto thee, wherefore hath Yahuwah pronounced all this great evil against us? The Most High pronounced all this great evil against us. This is where we're at. Because of our hearts. All of this great evil. Do we say that the Most High is evil? No. He's a just and awesome Father. And he loves his people. And guess what? He loves whom he loves. He does what? He corrects. We had that rod of correction in good measure. We didn't like it, but we had to go through it. Does it say here? Wherefore, does it say wherefore the Gentiles, wherefore the heathens have pronounced all this great evil against? They have no power. The only power they have is the power that the Most High has given over them to afflict us. Because why? Because we have sinned against our Heavenly Father. Listen, like I said earlier, I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. You want to know why? They're looking at what's happening in Israel and they're realizing they got a problem. They're now realizing that they're going to be dealing with some curses. Did those curses start on Friday the 13th? Ah, man, I'm telling you. I would not be surprised that you see an Iranian flag on a Friday the 13th mask, on a Jason mask. Or what is our iniquity? Or what is our sin that we have committed against Yahuwah, our Elohim? Then thou shalt say unto them, because your fathers have forsaken me, saith Yahuwah, and have walked out after other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law. And ye have done worse than your fathers. For behold, ye walk every one after the imagination of his evil heart, that they may not hearken unto me. Do you hear that? Do you see the imagination that we did, and now it's the imagination that they're doing. Come on out and protest. Nah, we're good. Come on out and say that there's no kings. Nah, we're good. We need this time to reflect, because why? Because we got here with something that's way more than anything we could do in a natural. There's something that's way more than what a crystal can do. There's something that's way more than all these little wicked things that our forefathers, our ancestors, and everything else had tried to show to us. There's way more. Than any of this African ancestry worship. There's way more to this. We haven't listened. Our forefathers haven't listened. We tried to act like the Gentiles. We tried to act like the heathen. And we were saying, don't act like them, because when you do, come out of Babylon, my people, lest you partake of the plagues. I'm gonna. I'm almost. I almost got my stuff. I'm almost good. You are always going to be tasting that spiritual carrot that was being dangled on every single last one of us. And now, do you see that they're chasing that spiritual carrot? I'm going to make this thing. It's going to turn back. It's going to return. 2020. Quick, get Michael J. Fox and let's get in this DeLorean. Put some garbage in the flux capacitor. Because the Iranians are here and they're actually shooting at us. This is not a movie. Great Scott. I don't have a tumor. Therefore, will I what? Cast you out of this land into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers there, and there ye shall serve serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you favor. Wait, wait. That means they're out of Egypt, right? But everything was done. This is fake. The word is fake. Prophecies are fake because my pastor told me that don't worry about the Negroes. Don't worry about the people that we've had here in derision. Don't worry about our victuals. Jeremiah 16:14. Therefore, behold, the days come. So the days come. The days are coming, saith Yahuwah. that it shall be, that it shall no more be said, that it shall no more be said. They're not going to say it anymore. Yahuwah liveth, that broughteth up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But that was already done. That was already prophecy. That's the Old Testament. That's old stuff. Jeremiah 16:15. But Yahuwah liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north and from all the lands whither he had driven them. All the lands. Judah had been scattered. Israel, the true Israel, is over there in the land and they cannot have access to it. They're finally kicking out the people. I showed you that video yesterday of the Pan-Africanist, the Pan-Africanisms, where the white man, the Caucasian man was saying, hey, we don't have the umph like that. We don't got it like that anymore. And now understand, they know and they realize their timing. I'm going to share this with you again. Shout out to Kenyan Beast. Give me a one if you all can hear that. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Give me just a second. All right. Let me do this now. They don't like the sound on these things. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go.
And then I come back.
Could Pan-Africanism change the world's geopolitical landscape and lead to an economic revolution in Africa? Or is this just another social movement that is all bark and no bite? One thing is for sure, it certainly has certain special interest groups in the Western world worried, and African investors like ourselves excited. The concept of Pan-Africanism has been around for a century, but it's always been a disjointed movement. And whenever there's been progress made in the past generations, it seemed that the leaders would either sell out to the Western interests or find themselves meeting an untimely death. But this new generation of Pan-Africanism seems to be a little bit different, a lot more business-minded and a lot more sophisticated. Whereas the previous movements were mainly political in nature with abstract goals, the current Pan-African movement.
Okay, can you all hear? I have a 1.
I can hear it. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, look, that sometimes you gotta understand they don't like.
Has very clear
I like
objectives
this.
and can be tangibly measured. For instance, Ghana and the Ivory Coast united to negotiate better positions for themselves in the cocoa industry. This is set to add billions to each country's economy annually. Zimbabwe has been unifying with lithium-producing nations to bring thousands of manufacturing jobs to the continent. Nigeria was able to leverage their fellow West African nations to have tariffs taken off over 3,000 exports from Africa to Europe, greatly helping African businesses. I can keep going on, but this is the mindset Africa needed from an investor's point of view. Africa has always been rich in talent and natural resources, but when it came to getting their fair cut, they were often divided and given back.
So understand, he's trying to come through with the, hey, we're trying to help. We're here to help Africa. No, they just want to divide again, and they're going to divide trying to say, oh, well, we're here with resources because now we understand the Pan-African. It's too late for that.
Them always being duplicitous and, not forthcoming. Shocker.
It's too late. It is too late. Let me get back here to Jeremiah 16. At verse 15, but Yahuwah liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yahuwah, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain, from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. For mine eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face. Neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled my inheritance with carcasses and of the detestable and abominable things. O Yahuwah, my strength and fortress, and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. This is where you all are at, Gentiles. We've been telling you this. We showed you this. We've explained this to you all. And now this time is here. Remember, what was done to us will be done to you all. And you all get a double of a double. Y'all get a double of a double. As Sister Chantel would say, double of a double. But now your tactics, they don't work anymore. It was a good run while it lasted. And now it's not going to last any longer. So here we are in the midst of this. I don't know. I think that's all I got to say, Brother Garth. Any thoughts?
I'm all I'm gonna say is everyone stay prayed up, and keep on following the Most High. Stay in that book and keep on fasting and calling upon Him for discernment and how you should move. I'm going to tell everyone to follow Faith and Fitness by Garth. I will put my channel in the chat. I'm preparing stuff to help everyone get into their fitness mindset, whatever is holding you back from doing, physical activity or things that you should be doing to take care of your vessel. I'm going to help you with that, and I'm currently developing different things that I hope to help serve the community to make us whole in body, mind, and soul. That's all I have. Brother Karras, thank you for giving me the platform to promote that and to also discuss what is going on. I am out. Shalom.
All right. Thank you, Brother Garth. Also, Sister Fatea will be hosting a let me get her stuff. It's a master class she will be holding for her leadership seminar. It's a webinar. Thy written word, unlock your God-given talent. Unlock your God-given talent. That is tonight. That will be tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You could sign up. It is free. It is free. Sister Fatea has had awesome leadership classes, leadership challenges. This is where we need to learn from one another and grow from one another. You could sign up right now because you will be instrumental in this. Do you all see this now? You're going to be very instrumental. This is Jeremiah 16:19. I'm not saying this. This is what the Most High is saying. This is what's going to end up happening. Yes, we were punished for a little bit. Yes, we had to go through the rod of correction for a little bit, but afterwards, oh Yahuwah, my strength and my fortress, and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanities, and things wherein there is no profit. So if they got that, if they're getting that understanding, then what do you think we need to do? I'm just saying. Why do you think they're trying to say that? Because they need to know. How can we be a light unto the nations if we haven't trained to be a light? There are things we have to do. There are things we are supposed to be doing. You know, we didn't do what we're supposed to be doing for our forefathers, and you realize that's why we ended up in this captivity. We weren't training our people. We forsook the laws, statutes, and commandments. We forsook the basics. This is always about training and doing better and training and doing better. I know when people hate that there's a requirement. Yeah. This is what we have been brought here to do. You all may see all these missiles and everything else raining down in the Middle East. You know what that means? You know what that really means? That means we don't have much longer here. Because really, this was to my, I'm just gonna let you know, for me, my personal thoughts, this is the tipping point. This was where all of this, everything that we were planning for, everything that we were looking for. Is it a validation point? It could be. Are we going to be validated? Probably never. But that's not on us. That's not on us. That's on them. All we can do is do what the Most High tells us to do. And then we go from there. Gentiles, this is your time. You need to start cleaving. Because you don't know how quickly this thing could poof in the night. The all of a suddens. The next thing I knew was I don't know what happened, but this is the next thing I knew. And you all know exactly how quickly things move right now. And I'm sorry, things are moving so quickly, it's spinning my head. So Yasharal, Yahudin, to us, don't get cocky on this too. I don't even know if I'm going to make it. I'm trying every day. Father, if it's your will. Father, if it's your will. Here we are. So, family, that's what I have. That's all I got. You know, things are going to intensify. I'm not anticipating anything, from the United States until about Friday. You're going to start seeing some really still incredible and unbelievable sights. But don't be dismayed, and please do not be discouraged at all. Do you all know that we were literally made for this? So lift up your head. We were literally made for this moment. So with that, that's all I got to say. Be blessed, everyone. You all have a blessed day. Be encouraged and be thankful, because the Most High is with you in these times. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.